So today's the day. This video is going to be talking a bit about chickens and red mites. So if you're not interested in chickens or red mites, I apologise. If you don't know a lot, most people do. Most people who have got even a couple of chickens know about red mites, but if you don't, red mites are just tiny little mites that they crawl. They live in crevices, usually. Well, crevices, yeah. Wood sheds are bad because obviously there's lots of cracks in wood, in the grains of wood. There's lots of places for them to live. Modern sheds obviously try their best, to avoid any cracks, but you can't really. There's always somewhere for mites to live. So they come out at night, they crawl onto the hens, and they basically just suck the blood out of the hens. They turn red. That's why they're called red mites. When they haven't got any blood in them, they're just grey. They're like tiny little grey mites. This shed in particular is terrible for them. If you go in there at night, the walls are covered. For the last couple of years, I've been unsure as to how much of an impact the mites have been having. So I used to spray. There's sprays you can get which are supposed to get rid of them, but they don't work. I've never found one that actually kills them. They're very hard to kill. Instead of killing them like a fly spray would, they're sprays that are supposed to break down their shell. But I found that they just don't work. And to kill them effectively, you need to be able to spray them directly, and especially in the day, you can't obviously see any of them because they're all hiding in cracks and things. So, but I have tried in the past. I've tried coming in really late at night, like 11 o'clock, when they're all out, and you can just see them all over the walls, all up the feeders, everywhere, on the hens, and spraying them directly, and it just doesn't work. I've done it sprayed every night for a week, and the numbers don't reduce at all. And I've tried three I think different types of spray that have been sold to me as red mite killing spray, so they're no good. But anyway, I've never been entirely sure as to how you can sort of judge the damage that they're doing, but this year I think I've really had my eyes open, because this shed, they've dropped. They were laying at 96% this shed for months. They've been one of the best early lay flocks we've ever had. They're Boven Browns. But since the mites have come out, since the weather warmed up, they've dropped and dropped and dropped. I don't think it was initially the mites that, it might have been, but caused them their first drop in production. I think they caught something. They had a course of antibiotics which seemed to stop them dying, because I was losing quite a lot, and then the egg numbers sort of plateaued, and then the mites got more and more and more, and now the egg numbers are dropping and dropping and dropping again. I've tried more antibiotics, which had no effect whatsoever on anything, and then I've given them a worming dose, because I just had some wormer, so they had 4 days of wormer, which also made no difference. So I'm convinced now it's the mites that are having the effect. I don't think they're actually killing the hens, but they're weakening them to the point that they're so weak it doesn't take much to finish them off. And they're laying, because they were laying so well, they're continuing to lay well as best they can, but they're laying way too big an egg for their body condition. So I'm getting loads of eggs that coming out with blood on them, which basically means they're underweight. They're eating enough to still produce the same egg, and they've got into that routine of producing that big egg, but their body condition is getting lower and lower and lower, because obviously the mites are taking energy away from them. But because of the way that these commercial hens are being bred, they've prioritized getting that egg out every day, and they literally just lay themselves till they conk out. They just lay themselves to death almost, which is it's a bit of a blunt way of putting it. But so I've splashed out, I've rung the vets. One night I knew they would want evidence, speaking to a friend of mine who's just got hold of some of this Exzolt product. I knew they would want evidence because they want to be able to either come out and have a look, or they want to see photos of the mites so that they know that that's what's the problem. So I took photos one night, because if you leave the eggs on there till like 10 o'clock at night, roll them off, they're just absolutely covered in mites. So I took a couple of photos of them. If I've got them, I'll put them in the video, and then sent them in, asked for the product, and they just said, yeah, it looks like you've got a bad problem. We'll, because it's got to be, what's the word? Prescribed. It's a prescription drug. So this is it, Exzolt. So they come out with this a couple of years ago. God knows what's in it. I mean, I don't trust drug companies at all. And they say it's safe to give to hens. What the long-term effects on the hens are, I don't know. But I mean, we only keep the hens for a year, so it's sort of, shrug it off. It's not our problem. But I'm sure it probably is pretty nasty stuff. It's incredibly expensive. I haven't had the bill yet, but when I do, I'll let you know. It'll be in a different video probably. And I've never thought that it was worthwhile, because I could never really put a value on the damage that the red mites were doing, a cost figure. So, but with the amount of production that I've dropped now over all 4 sheds, it's almost like I've lost a shed. So that's worth a reasonable amount of money when you add it all up over a period of, basically over a summer. So I've decided to bite the bullet. Until I try it, I'll never know. I mean, I might try it, it might not work, or it might kill all the mites and the egg production doesn't improve. We don't know, but until you try, you don't know. But I'm quite excited just to see whether it does kill all the mites. So what you're supposed to do is, I've got a litre bottle, which in theory is enough to do all my hens twice. So you have to do them twice anyway. So one treatment is you put it in the water. They have to drink it within a 4 hour and between 4 hours and 24-hour period. And then in theory, all the mites that go and feed on them that night will perish. And then you wait 7 days, although I imagine you could probably wait a few more than 7 days if you wanted. And then any new young mites that are hatching have chance to hatch, and then you do it again, and then that's supposed to be like a blanket kill in your shed. So, but I've got enough to do that in all of my sheds, and then I've probably only used half the product, because you can buy it in smaller bottles, but it's way more expensive, and it's expensive enough as it is. And apparently it will keep for up to a year, so I'm thinking that do them all now. I might have to do them, this shed especially, that's the really bad one, maybe I'll do again in another 2 or 3 months, just before winter, so I can get a bit of a kill before winter, maybe. I don't know, I'll just have to see how it goes. If not, I can save it, and it should keep until next spring. And then once the mites start coming out in the spring, I can do them again. And I'm sort of hoping that maybe, if you did them 2 years in a row, you'd maybe be able to skip a year or 2 years, because it's taken years for the mites to get as bad as they are now in my sheds. So that's what I'm hoping. Anyway, I'm excited to see what difference it's going to make. I'm about to put it in the water now. Turn the waters off. This shed flushes automatically, so we won't need to do anything with this one. I'm going to leave the pullets, the youngest ones, because I'm not seeing any evidence of any mite in that shed yet. So I don't see the point in doing it really, and they're laying really well. They're laying over 90%. The other 2 sheds are both dropping in egg production, and I have seen a lot of mites, especially in the 4th shed. So there we are. I've been rambling a bit, but I will say the third shed are due to go. They're clearing out in, God, it's coming quite quick. It could be like 2 or 3 weeks. So I ummed and ahed whether it'd be worth treating them, because is there any point when the shed's about to get washed out? But then I thought, it's because I'm giving this product to the chickens, you're basically using the chickens as a vessel to administer the poison to the pests. And probably, I think, because you can't really, you wash your sheds, you power wash them all out, and then a week later you can see them all coming back out of the cracks. It doesn't kill them. They're very hard to kill, and they hibernate. So I think it might be a good idea to use these old hens that I'm about to get rid of to rehome, and have a good kill of the mites in that shed before they go, and then wash the shed out, and then hopefully there'll be a less mites in the shed when the new hens arrive. That's my theory anyway. So anyway, right, I'm going to put it in and we'll see how it goes. Right, I've put it in the first shed. Now I've got 50 mil to put in this shed. I'll have to flush this one manually, so I'll put the product in the water, turn the water off, and I think the way I've got this float set, I think there's probably about 3 or 4 hours worth of water in the tank. So I'll come back this afternoon, and if they've drunk it all, I'll turn the water back on. That's the thing. One of the benefits of the automatic flushing system is it's way easier to administer anything like worm antibiotics or this product in the water, because you don't have to worry about when they're going to run out, because you really don't want them to run out of water and have no water for any period of time. So, but obviously depending on how warm it is, how much they're laying, what stage they're at in their lay, they drink different amounts of water. So it can be very time consuming coming and checking to see whether they got water, and if they have, because you want them to drink all of the product before they obviously you turn their water back on. But at the same time, you don't want them to go hours and hours and hours without any water, because that has a negative effect as well. So it can be very time consuming, and the top problem I have is I quite often forget. I turn the water off, forget that I've turned it off, come back at the end of the day, and then they've gone to bed having not had any water for half of the afternoon, which is usually more counterproductive than whatever it is you're trying to administer to help them in the first place. So yeah, the flushing system is definitely a win. I'm hoping to get one installed in the next shed we're clearing out, which is the third shed. So I don't know, but Dan's due to be coming home. I don't know whether he's about to start making his way back home. Maybe he made it to wherever he was going, the Black Sea. I think he got delayed a couple of days with bike breakdowns, but I think he's back on the road again now. So whether he'll be back in time to help me get a new computer installed in that shed, I don't know. I'm sure that's the main thing he's worrying about and rushing home for. I can probably install the wires. All the pipe work's in because I've already done that, the flushing pipe work, so just need some cables putting in when it's empty, and then what he needs to do is program the computer and all that fiddly wiring that I probably haven't got a clue how to do. So, and programming basically, which he could, I suppose, if I get the hardware in, it could be done once the hens are already in. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm sure he's really worried about it, so he'll be rushing home. Here's me, can't even remember when they're going. I think it's getting really close. I'm tempted to say that I've got 3 weeks left, but I don't think it is that long. It's maybe only a week or two before those hens start getting cleared out. I've booked them in. Someone's coming to take them to rehome them. And my plan was that I was going to try and bank up a good stock of eggs before they went, but as it's happened, they've all dropped in production, so I'm not actually banking any eggs up. I'm only just about keeping up with my orders. So, it's a nightmare. So yeah, when they do go, I'm going to be short of eggs, unless these sheds that I'm treating bounce back and all of a sudden, start laying at 90%. But I won't hold my breath. Right, I'm going to put this in the water, and then I'm going to feed these cows. For some reason, they're all lying down. Normally at this time of the day, they're stood there bawling, waiting for their barley. But yeah, it's just wet. You turn these cattle out thinking that they're just going to be stood, outside on some dry ground, but it's muddy around the water trough. It almost needs moving. I have to keep moving the feeding troughs. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I'm sick of moaning about the weather, I really am. But it is hard work. I feel really sorry for these dairy lads that are having to bring, on heavy ground like what I've got. If you're having to bring cows in now and feeding them first or second cut silage, which, your first cut silage, chances are it's 3/4 of a pit full compared to normal, and there could be a big chunk of it is just mud. So having to feed that now when you should be out grazing grass is just really, God, it would be depressing. I really feel for them. I'm glad I'm not in that boat, but it's going to have a big knock-on effect, this weather. It's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money. But anyway, try and be positive. So I'm just doing a bit of workshop jobs on a rainy day. This gate is one of the ones I bought, the heavy duty ones, the other one's over there, which I'm going to put in my cattle shed to replace the one which got very badly banana bent the other day. So this is it, because the one I'm replacing is just it's just like a field gate, whereas this is a proper heavy duty gate. It's not the heaviest duty gate I've ever seen, but it's a lot better than the one that's in there. So I've had to make it shorter to fit in the gap between the post and the wall. So I've cut that much off it, just over a foot, and then I've welded the end back on, and I'm just sort of about to put the latch on. I'm just trying to weigh up where to put it. It didn't come with a latch, so I found a latch off another gate, so I'll put that on now, and then hopefully get it hung up and see if it fits tonight, because I'm sort of wanting to scrape my cows out, really. So yeah, all done, welded up, latches on. I did just cut this piece. The gate must have been dragging on the floor where it was, so it had sort of half worn the bottom rail off, which didn't matter because I was cutting it back anyway. Where is it? If I can find it. Here, this is the bottom rail, so it had worn some of that off because it had been dragging on the floor for God knows how many years. So I decided it wasn't really long enough this, so I cut that bent bit off and welded a new piece on just to square it off. So other than that, it's pretty straight. I did just lay it on the floor and straighten it a bit with a loader because it did have a little bit of a kink in it, but I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to see if I can go and hang it in now. There we go, all done. For once I actually managed to measure a gate and get it exactly the right size. I don't think it could have been any better, really. It's just left me enough room. And it fits, the hinges are the right height, so yeah, I'm really chuffed. So that should be good. It's going to replace this one here, which is the one that got completely bent and twisted. It's just completely mangled, and it's really, when the cattle push against it, it just looks like it's going to crumple into nothing. It'll do a job though. I can make a calf pen or something out of it, or it can be stuck in a hedge, but it just doesn't want to be in here with adult cattle. So yeah, this will do the job. Very happy. I'm just rolling some of this hay. This is straw. This bale is straw, this bale's hay, and in the passage is hay, Ragwort hay, which I've been rolling out just to try and sort of use it up as bedding slash, let them nibble at it if they want. And my plan was to roll it out and I'll pick the Ragwort out of it. But this is the 5th bale. Well, this will be the 5th bale that I've rolled out, and I haven't found a single plant of Ragwort. So makes me feel like it's just a complete waste to use it as bedding. But I picked what I thought was the cleanest, best bales out of the field and sold them to my friend, and he went to deliver the first one, and he found a Ragwort sticking out the side of the bale on the very first bale. So God, you just couldn't write it, could you? But anyway, I think, to be fair, the last ones that I brought home that are outside in the yard were the borderline ones that I wasn't sure on whether they were okay or not. So they would be the best ones of the lot because they were from the nicest part of the field, if you get what I mean. So as I find more Ragwort in them. But anyway, I've got a spreader full of muck, which is, well, it's hay. It's hay muck really. So I'm going to go and probably spread it on some grassland. The reason I haven't just tipped it is because my fields, we've had a lot of rain the last couple of days, and the field out there is well, it's just getting a bit muddy to be driving out with the loader. I've been tipping it like right over behind those piles out of sight. So I thought, well, I'll just chuck it in the spreader and I might be able to go and lose it on my sheep field. But I don't know, I don't really know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. So, well, here we are. Just tried to go and empty my spreader on a grass field, and granted it is a wet field, but I didn't think it was this wet. Just sunk in a bog. So what an idiot. I tried to empty the spreader, obviously. It's a slightly, just a touch thick on the old application rate in places. Just can't really see any grass. But that didn't help either, because I still can't get out. Can't back out. There wasn't a great deal of warning either. If you look where I was driving, I knew it was wet, but I thought, well, as long as the spreader's emptying, it should get better. But no, it just sunk. So yeah, happy days. Tried to drop it off. I thought maybe if I can drop the spreader off and come at it from a different angle and maybe put a strap around it and get it out, change the angle of the spreader, but I can't even drop it off. The hitch won't go down far enough to get it off. So yeah, I'm waiting for a tow. I think my mate might come out and give me a pull, because I've got no other ideas really apart from just walk home. Could just walk home, abandon it. But yeah, happy days. Middle of July. Still can't drive on my fields. This is a wet field, to be fair. This is probably my wettest field, which is why I don't mow it. Well, it's not the only reason I don't mow it. It's full of trees, so it normally has sheep on it. But you can tell by all the rushes that it's wet. There was a pit over there where those trees are. There's a pit which I subsoiled a load of lines into the pit, thinking that might help, but it didn't seem to make any difference. It's full of water, but yeah, oh well. I'm gonna hook the spreader back up and wait for me to tow. That way. now instead. Back in the organic field, just come to check, see what sort of growth stage the regrowth is at, because I'm just conscious that I need to get in here and spray it, but it's not, I don't think it's ready yet. These are the Ragwort, I think that's the Ragwort. There's loads of broadleaf weeds in here, there's loads of docks and things, but I'm hoping that if I catch it at the right time, I should have a good clear up these docks. But I was sort of hoping that I would get a bit of a kill on all the brambles that I topped, but I don't think they're going to come, they're going to re-sprout in time to kill them at the same time with what this will need spraying, if that makes sense. So these trees here, I couldn't, that's as far as I could get with the hedge cutter. They want a chain around them, I think. And I need to come and pick up all this plastic. Why the hell there's a load of silage sheet in a field, I do not know. But yeah, this is just, there's just nothing going on here. So, but anyway, there is bits of stuff coming. So anyway, at least I'll be able to get me sprayer over the top of it in the spring if I get those trees out, and be able to clear it up. It's going to take a couple of years to get it right. I've got loads of hedge cutting to do, but it's not really the time of the year for hedge cutting, is it? I need to leave it a month or two. And yeah, after all that rain we had, it's come very wet again. But still, the forecast is good for the next couple of days, so hopefully ground will dry up a bit, ready for the next bout of rain. So it's been 8 days today since I put the Exzolt product in for the first time. I put the second dose in yesterday, after a week after the first dose. By day 2, I went in the evening after the day I treated them, or sorry, 2 evenings after, so they'd had a chance to have like a whole day after they'd in theory fed off the hens that had the product. And I don't know what I expected. I sort of maybe expected to go in and just see no mites. But that wasn't the case. There was just as many mites as there were normally. So I thought, oh, maybe it takes a day or two. So I left it another day, went in again the following night on like day 3 after giving them the treatment. And same thing, there was just as many mites as there was before I treated them. I couldn't really notice any change in them at all. So by this point I was starting to worry that I'd either put the wrong amount of product in, or whether it just wasn't going to work. Maybe I had too much of a mite problem. So I spoke to my friend who's used it before. I said, how long does it take, before you notice whether it's working or not? And he said, oh, by the end of the first week you should notice a considerable difference, but certainly by the end of the second week, they'll be all gone. And I was like, oh, right, okay. I was a bit worried because it's been like 2-3 days and I haven't noticed any difference. And he said, no, don't worry. Just hang on for another couple of days. You'll start seeing them reduce. Anyway, so I did a bit of Googling and research, and yeah, I found that it doesn't, I thought it was just basically like a poison that killed the mites, but it isn't. What it does is it takes away the mite's ability to be able to reproduce. So whatever it does, it basically poisons the mite, but it doesn't kill them. It just stops them being able to reproduce. Apparently, they have like a 2 week or maybe just a week breeding cycle. So within a week, everything that is fed from on the first treatment is in theory not able to reproduce. And then everything, when you retreat them again for the second week, everything that is hatched out in that, during that period and started feeding is now able to be treated, and then same process, which should give you a blanket kill. So I read this up on online, and I was like, oh well, that's interesting. I didn't know that was how it worked. But anyway, by the 6th day, the day before I needed to give them the second dose, I went in the sheds in the evening. Considerably less mites, like loads less mites. There were still a couple, but nowhere near as many. I went in yesterday on the 7th day, and yeah, there was hardly any. I didn't see, I think I saw like 2 mites looking around the shed and on the eggs, and I'm just gobsmacked. So yeah, I'm relieved that it's worked, and in a way I'm amazed that it's just, you can just deal with such a, what seems like a untreatable problem so easily. But it's very expensive. I still haven't had the official price, but last year when I quoted for this, it was around about or just shy of £1,000 for a bottle of 1 litre, which is why I hesitated to buy it, because I thought, well, it's going to have to, A, it's going to have to work, and B, you're going to have to justify it in the sense that the mites are going to have to be doing a lot of damage to your hens to be able to justify it, which I think, to be honest, they are, especially this year and with how bad they've got. So all in all, from what I've seen so far, I'm only on 8 days, but the way that they've disappeared, I'm quite confident that it's going to have, it's taken like years and years and years to get to a point where I'm at now, where I felt like they were really doing a lot of damage. So if you can just like blanket kill everything out of the shed, I mean, maybe that'll see you right for a couple of years. I don't know, but anyway, we'll see. I'll keep mentioning it if there's anything worth saying. But there you are. If you are interested, it definitely does work, and I'm just very impressed. God knows what they put in it. I mean, what do they put in a chemical to affect the breeding cycle of a mite? It's just a bit scary, but if it works, it works. And because of how effective it is, they've obviously thought they can make some serious money out of it. So there you are. Anyway, so yeah, very good, very happy. And that's about it. I'm going to end the video here. It's dragged on for a couple of weeks, this video. I've had bits of footage getting stuck, and yeah, still waiting for dry weather. It's just not coming. There's a few bits that keep appearing in the forecast. I was going to mow yesterday, but there was some storms forecast for today, so I was umming and ahhing, held off. We've had quite a lot of rain today. Yeah, we've had 11 mil just this afternoon, so I'm glad I didn't mow, because our fields are so wet. Getting really sick of it, but there's nothing we can do, absolutely nothing. So as soon as we do get a dry spell, everything wants mowing. Second cut all wants cutting. The third cut on the ryegrass is ready to mow. So I can't see that I'm going to have time to mow everything in one go and try and make hay and silage and everything, but I don't know. Dan's on his way back, so he's going to help. I've got hens going tomorrow, so I only just got them treated in time to kill the mites, but that's fine. So we've got a hen shed to wash out and everything, so there's loads to be cracking on with, and quite a lot of projects on the go, which I'm going to try and film a bit of what we're doing in the next couple of weeks when I've got some help and hopefully some dry weather. So yeah, there we are. Thanks for watching this video. It's been a long one, a lot of talking, and if you're not interested in mites or anything like that, then I'm sorry. But anyway, the next one will hopefully be, you know, I think I've said this in the last 3 videos, but hopefully some haymaking, silage making, but more than likely a lot of getting stuck, similar to this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.